So I went back and forth thinking about what to talk about, and I honestly didn't really come to a real, I think, solid conclusion. And so it's a little bit up in the air in terms of what to talk about, and I wanted to also put it out there for you all to share things. Um, I'd be interested to hear about things that you all have questions about, or interested in, or want to talk about as well. Um, so I'll just make a couple of points, and then I'll turn it over a little early and see if we can get any group dialogue going. Um, I'll just share some experience I've had recently. Um, this weekend, I went to LA to visit friends who were there, like friends from high school, um, particularly a group of guys who uh, get together every year. And so I was able to participate this time, and it was a wonderful experience to see old friends and people we may some of us may not have been good friends in high school, but like we're good friends now. It's like just just the sense of reconnecting over time is valuable and powerful. Um, and so that was really nice for me. It's something I've not been able to do for much in my life. And so I'm starting to look at relationship and connection um, as a practice for myself. I heard something powerful recently that they were talking about what affects longevity, long life, and health. And the point someone made or had found in research was that it doesn't really matter so much what your diet is. It's what really determines your longevity and your the quality of health into late ages is the quality of relationships that we have. So if I'm a super healthy person, but I don't have quality relationships, then even though I'm healthy, my health is still going to be vulnerable, and I may not live as long. On the other hand, if I eat poorly or don't take care of myself super healthy, but I have really high quality relationships, then there's a sense of life. It translates to living longer and I would say happier. Uh, and that was a real wake up call for me because I don't feel like I have a lot of quality relationships in my life. I have a couple, right? But I've been focused on work and projects and my daughter so much for so long that that's the things I've been doing are not really counting towards quality relationship. I've been making choices to, I'll go home and I'll work alone, or I'll be alone. I'll work on things myself rather than like, okay, I'm not going to work on these things. I'm going to go out with people. I'm going to connect with people and try to sustain a real quality relationship. So that's a choice, right? That's a choice that I'm interested in making, and I'm interested in developing as a practice. Um, so, and when I say practice, it's like an intentional, I'm going to try to stick with it. I'm going to try to put time into it. I'm intentionally going to invest time into it and try to be consistent um, and work with things that come up. If I have resistance comes up, I'm going to practice with that. If feelings come up that might get in the way of that, I'm going to practice with that. If I have addictions that come up that get in the way of that, I'm going to practice with those. So it's a real practice. Um, at least for me, it is. And so, I don't know. So that was great. It was great to connect with people this weekend, this last weekend, uh, about 3 days. And the other side of that is I came home and man, I just had kind of a panic attack, uh, feeling. I had this. I had a really strong sense yesterday, like last night when I'm just home by myself decompressing, of basically it wasn't good, right? I had this sense of basically being. It was like all my worst qualities came up at once, and I was just seeing clearly how I've dropped the ball and I've I've ruined relationships, or I haven't been able to accomplish things in life, or I haven't been able to be effective in different ways. It was like everything came up, and I was like, I'm like a loser and a fraud. And oh, it was just so strong. It was just so clear and strong. And I just felt hopeless and helpless and just like I have no value. And I believe I have value, right? I think you all should know that you know I'm that's not me, right? That's not fully me. Like I believe in myself, and I believe in others, and I believe in the value of what I've done and what I do. And so it's not like I really truly believe that. It's more like I was experiencing very strongly this one end of the spectrum, which I had never really seen that clearly before. I've never just I felt like I could see all the karmic webs just like reinforcing this one story about myself. I'm a loser. I'm a fraud. I've ruined everything, and I always will. Just seeing that so clearly, it's in that sense it was true. It is true, right? On the spectrum, on the whole spectrum of life, there's a story of me where I'm great and I do amazing and I'm the best and everything I've done has been very great and wonderful or perfect. And I've experienced that probably way too much in my life, especially through like drugs and just trying to be, I don't know, trying to feel that way, trying to feel really good and then feeling grandiose. And this was the opposite side of the spectrum where I just was as good as I've ever felt in my life. I felt just the same amount, but in the opposite end. And I knew that at the time. I'm like, okay, I'm going through this. I feel horrible. I feel like complete fake in my life. And I know better, but I still feel this way. And so it's like I'm looking at myself through different filters at the same time almost. And from that perspective, it was powerful for me. It was powerful to go through that, to see that end of the spectrum and to be open with it. It's like, okay, I'm just open. It's empty in that sense. Uh, can you all hear all those dogs barking? It's so classic, right? The siren goes by and all the dogs are just chiming in for minutes. Um, wow. So anyway, I just wanted to share that, as an experience that I've had recently, and um, I think, partially I want to just relay how I think Zen as a foundation. Zen has given me a foundation to experience these things with objectivity and emptiness. And so, yeah, so that's I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm grateful for that. I have a lot of gratitude for this practice to give me the tools and the foundation to be able to go through severe anxiety, severe self-doubt, um, and yet be able to remain empty with it, to see the emptiness of it, to not take it as literally, but see that it's just part of a spectrum and be with it. It's like, this is it, right? To feel this way and not try to change it. To realize it will move, it will change, but I'm not trying to change it right now. Um, and and so it was valuable experience for me to feel that anxiety, that severe anxiety and self-doubt, because it's, yeah, for me it's, I saw clearly that that's part of my truth, right? My true self is empty. My true self is everything, and that is part of my true self. And if I can accept it and I can be with it, then that's going to help me bring that emptiness uh, and acceptance into when I'm feeling too good about myself, or when I'm being grandiose or self-centered, and I'm on the other end of the spectrum, to bring that emptiness and say, oh, okay, I'm pretty good, but I'm not that great. I'm not the best. I'm just a small cog in a large wheel of reality. Um, so yeah, to be able to go back and forth, right? That's kind of, I think, what they talk about, what we mean when we talk about going into heaven and hell freely. To be able to freely go in and out of heaven and hell is to be able to experience these ends of the spectrum as well as everything in between, all with this uh, lack of identity. I'm not identifying with it. Uh, so there's an emptiness and an openness and a oneness there through these difficult experiences and difficult feelings.